Hey everybody, it's Kim Danke, the Shibboleth new member fast track instructor. I hope you've had a great Monday. I hope that you've had a perfect day. If you are finding this on Facebook, please take a second to say hello, give us a few hearts, a few likes. If you're a member, share this for us so people can see what we have to offer. We still have a few memberships available. The number is getting smaller and smaller at shibbolethdeals.com for $69, a lifetime membership. So please let your friends know about it. And what they can see tonight is part of what they are going to learn. So if you're on Facebook, please take a second to say hello. If you are in the Zoom room, hey there. Glad you're here with me tonight. And we're going to do a little bit of housekeeping first. Find your chat button. Everybody find your chat button. And then choose the option for everyone. They have changed this. Yours may still say all panelists and attendees. Yours may say hosts and panelists, but Zoom updated today. So I would say that we need to choose everyone now. That's a little bit different. Okay, so let's choose everyone. Hey Donna, hey Teresa, hey Mary, hey Sheila. Sheila had a perfect day today and she's a member. Awesome, glad you're here. Hi Lisa and Ashley and Connie. Hey Connie, glad you're back again tonight. Hi Lisa, I love that. Jenny, good morning. Good morning. Hello. Okay, awesome. I'm glad you're all here with me. And hey, Renita, Susie, hello. Susie's had an IMF day. Hey, Catherine, glad you're here. Thank you for saying hello on Facebook. That's awesome. Okay. Hey, Sheila and Robin and Carissa. I think I did pretty well for day number 1. Awesome. Congratulations. Hey, Beverly, I'm not seeing the all button on the chat. So I think what you're going to do, Beverly, is my Zoom updated today. So the options that I'm seeing is hosts and panelists or everyone. I would choose the one that says everyone if you've got it. That's the one I would choose, Beverly. If your Zoom maybe hasn't updated, it might say all panelists and attendees. So they did an update. But just pick the one where you think is going to be the most people seeing what you type. Hey, Deb, IMF day today. That's awesome. I'm so excited. That's awesome. Connie just joined tonight. Welcome. Okay, awesome. She knows Alicia. Fabulous. Okay, Connie, I want you to hang out here tonight. But tonight, what I'm doing is one part of the overview that I went over last night. So I want you to make sure you go back and watch last night too, okay? All right, well, we're going to go ahead and get started. I'm going to share my screen. We're going to head over to the fast track laps because fast track is where you are going to spend most of your time in the very beginning. Hey, Evelyn, IMF day for Evelyn. So you're gonna spend most of your time in fast track, at least for a week, okay? At least for a week. And really, I want y'all to put blinders on and don't pay any attention to all the other cool things on the website until you have every task in every lap of fast track checked off. Hey, Stephanie, glad you're here. Just starting laps 1 and 2. Awesome. Yes, let's get laps 1 and 2 done right away. And then what we do, just to kind of give y'all a little way that this works, I don't actually go over laps 1 and 2 with you in a webinar because lap 1 is really just reading that paragraph and watching this little video, registering for some classes, printing your new member materials, joining some Facebook groups. I don't need to do a whole hour on that, but this little video here will show you how to do that. Okay, so you watch that and you put it all together. Now, when I'm hovering my mouse over these little tasks that are listed here, a black box pops up. That black box is different for every task because it's customized to that task. So it just gives you some ideas and some things that you could do. And yes, it's kind of homeworky because I'm a teacher and that's what I do. Hey, Angela, glad you're here. So you just read that. And the reason you read it is like, why is she wanting me to do this? And is there special information I need to know about completing that? So you read the black box, then you click on each of these things, Once you've done it, then you come back and check this box, okay? By the end, when you get to lap 7, you want all your boxes checked off. All right. Hey, Christy. It is not the same thing. Daily doses is what you do after Fast Track, unless you were a member that was around before we did Fast Track. And then what you do is if you're doing a refresh or a restart, you do Fast Track. It's a very methodical way to learn everything and get all of your new member materials. In lap 2, a lot of what lap 2 is setting up your account and making sure that you've crossed all the T's and dotted all the I's so that the website will create graphs for you. You're welcome. It'll create graphs for you and all kinds of other good things if you've given it the data. Okay, so you want to, again, do all of these things. Read the black box and then do the task and then check the box. And this would be a little short tutorial video about this task. Now, if you happen to miss a night, and so our new member that I just talked to is your name has already gone up the screen, and I have forgotten. So I'm sorry, but where you're going to find the webinar from last night is going to be right here. It says watch the daily Fast Track webinars. So let's say that you missed tomorrow night. You can come back and you can watch it right there. In fact, all of last week's are already there. So if you got a hankering to go ahead and wrap it all up, you really could wrap it all up. But we like for you to participate live when possible, is because you get one-on-one ability to ask questions when they come into your mind and you think about them. Okay, but where I'm going right now tonight is I am going to click on this link right here. The reason I'm going to this link through lap 2 on Fast Track is so that you know where to find this link if you'd like to access it again. And before I move on to that link, I want to talk about this last one right here. It says take the Fast Track quiz and earn your first badge. When you get that badge, it's actually going to say Fast Track. It's going to say Fast Track complete, but it's really not. Okay, you still need to finish all 7 laps and just do your little check off boxes. Okay, but why you get that badge early in the laps is so that it opens up the full food library, the full recipe library, and the full restaurant guide to you. If you haven't taken the test, you won't have the full libraries. Okay, so take the test and pass it so you can do that. All right, we're going to go ahead and move on to this webinar, this website here. And what I'm going to do tonight is I'm going to go over cooking oils and fats one time. I'm going to go over condiments one time. And then every time I come to a new list, I'm going to read it, but then I'm not going to reread it every time, because that's all we've got is listed for category 1. So it's the same thing throughout this webinar. But every time I come to a new one, I'm going to read it. The reason I like to read it is because you can hear it. I'm hoping that you're also reading it along with me. And if you like some foods that are in these categories, I'm hoping that you are writing them down in your favorites list for category 1s, your favorites list for category 2s, and so forth. And so really it's 3 different ways for you to start to hear and experience and read and write foods that go in those categories. So let's go over cooking oils and fats. We are making a simple swap to an oil that has almost no propensity to be stored on the body as fat. Amen. Hallelujah. I don't want to store anything as fat. So we're going to use MCT oil, 100% MCT oil. What were you using before, Shibboleth? Probably some canola oil, vegetable oil, olive oil, and those kind of things. Those are long chain triglycerides, and they have a great propensity to be stored on the body as fat. The next oil that you can use is coconut oil, but it's not 100% MCT oil. It's 66% MCT oil. You can also use ghee butter, and it's not 100% MCT oil. It's about 40%. But what ghee butter is, it's butter. It's just been clarified. So the milk solids have been pulled out of it, and it's really just leaving the natural, healthier part of the fat. I use ghee butter when I'm needing butter in a recipe, or if I were making shrimp scampi, or if I'm making this little buttery chicken thing that I cook in my casserole dish in the oven. That's when I use ghee butter. And then you can also use 0-calorie cooking spray. So I simply make the decision of when I'm cooking a lean protein, whether it is from category 1 or category 7, I use 100% MCT oil. But if I'm cooking a protein plus fat, I don't need to add additional fats to that because it already has good fats in it. I just simply use the 0-calorie cooking spray on that, or water, or whatever it is I'm cooking with. Okay. So we're going to use 100% MCT oil. The one that we recommend actually comes from our little store called Zero Drag. That's the name brand of it, called Zero Drag. And you can buy it from anywhere, though. I mean, you're not required to buy anything from Shibboleth to do the Shibboleth lifestyle. We have a store for convenience purposes, because when you are buying MCT oil, make sure that it says that you can cook with it. And then on the when you flip it over and it gives the ingredients, you want to make sure it says 100% medium chain triglycerides. If you flip it over and it literally says coconut oil as the ingredients, that's not 100% MCTs. Okay. So, and the reason I said you'd flip it over is because sometimes they try to market these things as 100% MCT or MCT oil, and it's not 100%. You want to get the 100%. Okay. Condiments. Yay for condiments. You know why? Condiments make our foods taste like we want them to taste. So let's take a piece of chicken. We can make barbecue chicken, Italian chicken, Mexican chicken. We can do all kinds of things with chicken. Okay, so the condiments, though, we got to have a rule around them. We have a category in the food library. It's not, Cindy. COVID shut that down. That's just our shipping department up there. And you can pick up an order, Cindy. Cindy's asking if the Dalton store is open, and it's not open for walk-in traffic. If you wanted to place an order online, or let Cindy Gwynn know, call the store, let Cindy know that you're going to place an order online, and she can pull it together for you. But what they don't do up there is do just like one bar. You buy a box. You got to buy it like it's on the store. You have to buy it like it's on the store. But you could go in there and pick it up if you wanted to. It's just that you need to make that plan with Cindy before you do. But if you order $30 or more, Cindy, it ships to you for free. But I know if you're near Dalton, it's nice to be able to go pick that up. Just call her. I know, yeah, I hope it opens back up, but I don't know. People had stopped going. In fact, people stopped going to class. This is why we do most things online. People tend to dwindle. Every time I try to do a class out somewhere, it dwindles. And that's not a good use of human resources. But you can still pick up your items there. Okay, condiments. There's a lot of condiments listed in a category called condiments, but there's a lot of things that can be used as condiments. In fact, there's so many that we can't put all of them in the food library. We can't put all of them in the food library. So what we do is we just give you a general rule about them. We call it the 5, 2, and few rule. 5, 2, and few. So that's a sprinkling. This is a sprinkling. If you see me do that, I'm just sprinkling. I'm using a smidge. It's just a little bit. Okay. But the 5 and 2 indicates the information you're going to look for on the nutrition label. So we don't want any condiments that have more than 5 grams of sugar, or more than 2 grams of fat, and more than 2 grams of fat. Those are the 2 things you're looking for. So I'm going to read this list, but then I'm going to give you a practical application. You can use any 0-calorie condiment. 15 calorie or less spices and seasonings. That's often that little packet of, taco seasoning or spaghetti seasoning. Salt and pepper, salsa, reduced sugar ketchup, mustard, hot sauce, Kraft fat-free mayo. Okay, so all of those can be used, but that's a tiny, tiny list. So let's say that you just want to buy some barbecue sauce. When you go into the store, just turn what you want to buy around and look at it. You're going to look at the sugar content. If it has less than 5 grams of sugar in it, you're going to look at the fat content next. And it needs to have less than 5 of sugar and less than 2 of fat. And if that's the case, and you're not going to use more than 50 calories of it, then you can get that one. Okay. Well, I tend to buy the Classico traditional pizza sauce, and I normally buy that at Kroger. Well, I was in Publix one day because I was picking up the Cabot Extra Light cheese, and the only grocery store in my town that sells it is Publix. And so I went to Publix to pick it up, and I thought, oh, I need to get some Classico traditional pizza sauce. So let me get that. And so I went back to the pizza sauce area, and they didn't have it. So there's 6 different pizza sauces though sitting on the counter. So instead of pulling out my phone and typing in every brand name, which would have taken forever, I just practically applied my knowledge. I turned all of the jars around. I started scanning for the sugar content. If it had more than 5 grams of sugar, I turned that one around. It's not in the running. Then I scanned the fat content. If it had more than 2 grams of fat, I turned it around. It's not in the running. I was left with 2 choices out of the 6 that were there, and I just bought one. So that's how you practically apply that to the condiment choices when you're just in the grocery store. All right. So now we're going to go over category 1 lean protein. It says 2 to 8 ounces. And if you're measuring, 2 to 6 ounces is really best. 2 to 6 ounces is really best for ladies. Men could go up to 2 to 8 ounces, but I have never measured my chicken. I just put it underneath my hand, and if it fits underneath my hand, I eat it. So, but if you're a measurer and you like to know that and you want to be aware, then that's what you want to do. But you just never want to eat more than what'll fit underneath your hand. All right, egg whites, fish. Remember last night I said all fish is here? All fish is here. Chicken breast, turkey breast, pork tenderloin, boar's head turkey, boar's head chicken breast, boar's head London broil, low-fat cottage cheese, fat-free cottage cheese, Greek plain yogurt, Hebrew National, 97% lean beef frank, and 96% lean ground meat. Keep in mind that this is a very small list. It's just some things to start to familiarize you with what items come in a category 1 lean protein. So basically it's protein, and it's lean. So there's hardly any fat in it. Okay, so let's go up and look at these from the bottom up. 96% lean ground meat. That could be beef, chicken, turkey, any ground meat. It's that ground meat, processed ground meat. Let's have a look here. Low-fat cottage cheese and fat-free cottage cheese. These are lean proteins. Full-fat cottage cheese is actually approved. Hey, Angelia, glad you're here. Full-fat cottage cheese is actually approved. It's just a category 4, protein plus fat. And the reason these say boar's head is because we know that boar's head is a very lean deli meat. And sometimes people are just like, give me what I can get the first day and let me get started. But there's a lot of other approved deli meat as well. Pork tenderloin. If you happen to see any visible fat on the pork tenderloin, go ahead and trim that off, because we use these lean proteins to keep us safe from fat storage if we eat them with a energy carb. Okay, so just trim that off, because most pork products are actually a category 4, protein plus fat. This is the only one, well, besides some Canadian bacons, that's a pork tenderloin. I mean, that's a lean protein. Okay, so if you do see some visible fat, trim it off. All right, so what this row is saying, now remember last night, who can tell me from watching last night which 5 categories you can eat alone? You do not even have to combine them. What 5 categories can you eat alone? Well, obviously category 1 is one of them. And y'all can type that in for me. This is one of them. So what this is saying is that you can have something from that list. And if there's an appropriate oil to cook it up in that right oil, doctor it up with the right condiments, and you'd have an excellent fat-burning meal. Okay, Connie, definitely 1s and 7s and superfoods, but there's 2 more. Yep, Julie got it. Ashley got it. Yep, that's awesome. That's awesome. Connie, you would just want to also say that you could eat your fibrous carbs and your protein plus fat with by itself too. Jenny, awesome. Thank you. Good. Okay. So you can eat those by themselves. Now we're going to come down. We have a new category here. Category 2. Awesome, Debbie. Thank you. Category 2, fibrous carbs. Half a cup up to a cup. When you are in weight loss mode, half a cup is really best. All right. But so I'm just going to lay that out there. But you don't want more than a cup even when you're in maintenance. But half a cup's best in weight loss. Broccoli, asparagus, squash, okra, green leafy vegetables, spinach, cabbage, cucumbers, bell peppers, hot peppers, cauliflower, kraut, dill pickles, green beans. So these are all category 2 fibrous carbs. But I'm going to give you something we're going to talk about in a minute. We have category 2 breads. They're not listed here right now because we're focusing on the ones that are vegetables. We're focusing on those, but we got category 2 breads and they're down there. Either way, Beverly, either way. Now, if you when you eventually get into Travis's advanced classes, he might talk a little bit more about that, but either way is fine. I would cook mine. Okay, so what this is saying, but if you like eating a dip or raw veggies, like with a dip, like you would take some bell peppers. I wouldn't cook my bell peppers because I don't like cooked bell peppers. But I would cook squash. So it doesn't really matter, Beverly, any way you want to. So you can take something from category 1 and something from category 2. So let's just say chicken breast and green beans. Simple. Maybe 96% lean ground beef. And I'm going to say this one, it's not even on the list, but I'm going to say it. Butternut squash. I'm saying that because that's my new French fry void replacement. I could have a burger and what looks like and seems like fries when I eat that. Jicama. I've never made it, but that's the one that I hear is a lot like fries too. So you could do that. Cook it up in the right oil. Now, in this particular case, I would use 100% MCT oil. Doctor it up with the right condiments, and you've got an excellent fat-burning meal. Now, when we're talking about condiments, you do not want more than 50 calories worth of condiments on a meal. So let's say that you want more than one condiment. You want like 3 condiments. Let's say you want some cheese, some mustard, and some ketchup. Well, let's think through it. If you have an approved cheese, I'm gonna use the Borden fat-free. It's about 30 calories. Let's say you want mustard. Most mustard is 0 calorie. Let's say you want ketchup, and you've got 20 calories worth of ketchup, and you can have 3 condiments on there. So as long as the condiments are approved or meet the rule, and you're not going to use more than 50 calories worth of condiments on a meal, you can have multiple condiments on a meal. Okay, we have a new category here, category 7 shellfish. Now, if you were listening last night, tell me what a category 7 shellfish really is. It's really just a what? It's really just a, That's right. Awesome. Y'all are just flying through with that. It's really just a lean protein. Thank y'all. Now, this is all the other critters that live in water. Fish, we just put in category 1. But see, due to biblical reasons and medical reasons, some people don't want to eat shellfish. So again, it's 2 to 8 ounces because it's a lean protein. So we got crab, lobster, shrimp, scallops, oysters, mussels, clams. So you could take one of those things, cook them up in the right oil or healthy fat, doctor it up with the right condiments, and have an excellent fat-burning meal. Now, a lot of times, this is where I see the ghee butter get used. Maybe you want to dip some crab legs. Maybe you want to dip some lobster tail. Maybe you want a shrimp scampi and so forth. So a lot of times, ghee butter will get used with that. Okay, we're going to come down a little bit more. Now you can see that we're just simply picking something from the shellfish category and putting it with something in the category 2 category. Cooking it up in the right oil and doctoring up with the right condiments, and you have an excellent fat burning meal. Okay, we've come down a little bit further. We have a brand new category, category 4, protein plus fat. Now you'll notice right here, the ounces go down just a little bit, 2 to 6 ounces. Here's why. 1 gram of protein has 1 gram of protein has 4 calories in it. 1 gram of fat has 9 calories in it. So you can back off just a little bit on this and you're still getting the calories that you need. Okay. Now, again, honestly, I've never measured it. I just put it under my hand, and if it fits, I eat it. But it did help me at restaurants. Now I know, oh, I don't get a steak any bigger than 6 ounces, so it helped me to know that, but I don't physically go around measuring. Now, if you're a chef and you already do those kinds of things, you like those things, you're familiar with meats and stuff, then it's just, it's no more than 6 ounces, okay? But I put it under my hand, and if it fits, I eat it. Okay, whole eggs, all cuts of steak, pork ribs, beef ribs, pulled pork, beef brisket, 93% lean up to 95.9% lean ground meat, and turkey kielbasa, as long as no more than 50% of the calories are coming from fat. So let's say that, let me explain how that works. So let's say that you look at a turkey kielbasa and you're like, is it going to work? If it says it's got 100 calories per serving, and then you look over there and 57 calories are coming from fat, that's more than 50% calories from fat. That one would not be approved. But if it was lower than that, then it would be approved. Okay. Now, things that are 20% calories or less from fat, that's how you know what goes in lean protein. But I don't stand in most stores and do the math either. I just use the food library, know what works, and I buy it. But if you needed that information, it's no more than 20% of the calories from fat for a lean protein, and then no more than 50% of the calories from fat for a protein plus fat. Okay, 93% lean up to 95.9% lean ground meat. Again, that's that beef, chicken, turkey, or processed meat. If it's less than 93% lean, it is not approved for a perfect day, because basically what they've done is taken a whole bunch of fat and added some meat to it. Okay, so it needs to be between that for a perfect day. Now, you can eat category 4 by itself. So let's say that you want to wake up in the morning and make yourself some whole eggs, totally fine. Ladies, about 2, men could go up to 3, and that could be a meal. That would be just fine. You can eat protein plus fat by itself, but optimally, you put it with a category 2. Maybe you make yourself a whole egg, an egg, and a spinach omelet. Make a spinach omelet. You do that. So this is just picking something from category 4 and eating it with something from category 2, doctoring it up with the right condiments. Now, there's a column that has been in all of the other rows. It was right here, right before the condiments, and now it's gone. Which one was that one? Not yet, Mary. Hadn't gone over that yet, Mary. But Brianna, yeah, the oils are missing. But Mary, you definitely would not eat a 3 with this. You are right about that. But the oils column is missing. It's missing because you have the fat in the food. You don't need to add more to it. So that's why I choose to use 0-calorie cooking spray with that. And then what Mary was saying is that you don't eat category 3s with that. You also don't eat fruit with it or superfoods with the category 4. Okay, so let's have category 6 superfood. And those of you, if you felt like I said that a little bit quick, it is because I went over all of that last night. So make sure that you go back and watch that video too. Category 6, superfood. Superfood can be eaten by itself. What qualifies a food to be a superfood? Hey, Christine. Did anybody write that down last night? That's right, Julie. It's got all 4 macronutrients in it. All 4 macronutrients. That would be, it's got water in it. Water's a macronutrient. And then it's got protein in it, fat in it, and carbs in it. So superfood has all of those in it. Beverly, the name of that video is the Lifestyle Overview, the Shibboleth Fast Track Lifestyle Overview. Yeah, awesome, Jenny and Connie. Thank you too. Okay, so category 6 can be eaten by itself. Let's see, Heidi. So using olive oil with grilled chicken and fibrous carb doesn't make it a holiday, right? Just a 4 + 2. You know, I would save that for a recipe. I mean, I would save that for a restaurant, Heidi, myself. Because olive oil has a great propensity to be stored on your body as fat, whereas the MCT oils don't. So that's one reason that we have that on here. In fact, let's do this real quick. I'm going to go look up olive oil and see if it's even in here. Yeah, see, olive oil isn't even in here. Let's just look up olive and see if I missed it somehow. Yeah, it's not approved for a perfect day, Heidi. You save that kind of stuff for out at a restaurant because you can't help what they're cooking there. And we're trying to make it be a practical, sustainable, fun lifestyle. Connie, do you have to use MCT or can I just grill lean protein? You're welcome. And no, you don't have to use MCT. You can just grill the lean protein, Connie. Yeah. If you want it to be the fastest fat burning combination, you get some MCT, but you're still going to have great results. You're still going to have great results. Okay. So pintos, black beans, red beans, soybeans, most of your darker colored beans are here. The occasional lighter colored bean, but most darker colored ones. And this is why you specifically look up all the foods you like to make sure that you're aware of the categories they go in. This is where you're going to find all of your nut butters, nuts and seeds are here. So you can eat this by itself. When it says a cup to 1.5 cups, this is simply if you're eating it by itself. If you're using it as a portion on your plate with a combined meal, you wouldn't be able to do a cup to 1.5 cups. It wouldn't fit underneath your hand. Now, you'll also notice here that the oils are not listed because this already has some fat in it and it's got some carbs in it. So you don't really want to add that to it necessarily. I mean, there's certain ones you can, but don't worry about it. If you see that listed on a combination chart, you can do it, but it's just something you're not going to do it regularly. Sheila says peanut butter Jif natural is great and you can buy it anywhere and it's delish. Awesome, Sheila. Thank you. So this, you can eat category 6 superfood by itself, doctor it up with the right condiments. Okay, let's talk about this one. You can eat superfood with fibrous carbs. Superfood with fibrous carbs. And this is where Travis says you get your greens and beans. Get your greens and beans here. But this is where I like to tell you that you can find a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Now, I don't have breads listed here. We're going to go over those in just a second. But we do have breads. You're welcome. You do have breads that that fall into the category 2 fibrous carb category. The reason that they will fall into that category is they are breaking down in your body more like a green bean. So your body sees the breaking down like a green bean rather than a bread. So that's why we have them. There's over 60 approved category 2 breads or bread type items, loaf bread, lavash bread, pita bread, tortillas and such. Okay, so if you took the right peanut butter, approved peanut butter, you would never choose a peanut butter that has hydrogenated vegetable oil in it. Now, there is a hierarchy of peanut butter. If you're looking for quantity of peanut butter, the better than peanut butter, better, and then the letter N, peanut butter, better than peanut butter is the one that you could eat more of. You can actually have 4 tablespoons of that rather than 2. All the others are typically 2. And then you could do 2 tablespoons of that for a snack if you wanted to, where you can do 1 of most other peanut butter. So better than peanut butter is a good choice if you are wanting quantity. And then the nuts and more is the next best one. This is based on fat calories and protein calories and all of that. And almond butter is approved. Yeah, you just want to, there's plenty in the food library. You can look and see, but yeah, it's approved. You just don't want it to have any hydrogenated vegetable oil in it. Like the Barney's crunchy and stuff, it's good. So you could have the right peanut butter or almond butter. Pick the approved category 2 bread or tortilla, whatever, but I'm going to say bread. And then you get jelly. You just get a sugar-free jelly. I think there's also a low sugar Smucker's approved. And then if you don't want that, you could do the good jam that's sweetened with stevia. And you've got a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. And it's a 6 plus 2 plus condiment. And the plus just means, you're putting it together. There's no math. All right, we're coming to a new category. Category 3, energy carb. For sure, you're not going to find the oils column here, and you are not going to find any protein plus fats here. Why? Because category 3 elevates your blood sugar, and when your blood sugar elevates, your pancreas secretes insulin. But you learn how to eat in a way that will control that insulin with a lean protein and a fibrous carb, but you don't want fat in that meal. Okay, this is why earlier I said if you saw any visible fat on the pork tenderloin, to trim it off. That way it doesn't get stored. Okay, now a quarter of a cup is best in weight loss mode. You can kind of go up to half a cup once you get to maintenance if you choose to, but quarter of a cup is best in weight loss mode. All of your potatoes are here. Oatmeal, steel cut oats, the Quaker fiber and protein oatmeal, long grain brown rice, most lighter colored beans. But the reason I say most is if you like a navy bean and you look up a navy bean, it's a lighter bean, but it's a superfood. So most lighter colored beans are here. All of your peas are here, except for that chickpea that masquerades as a light colored garbanzo bean, and it's over in the superfood category. This is why you look those up, but there are some generalizations, but just look them up to make sure that you know about the ones you're going to be eating. Tomatoes, onions, carrots, whole wheat pasta, and whole grain pasta. Now, we are going to be talking about pasta more tomorrow night when we go over the food library. But I want to tell you, there are better pastas to look into. One is called Fiber Gourmet. Fiber Gourmet. We sell it in our store, and guess what kind of pasta it is? It's a category 2. Most people say, amen, hallelujah, I can eat pasta. Now, obviously, it's not, you don't want to eat that every single night. It's still not the absolute best for weight loss, but it is a category 2. So I consider it better than a category 3 pasta. You could also do the Explore Cuisine pasta. It's a 1 and 2, so it's got protein and fibrous carbs in it. And then you could also do the Carbonara pasta. It's actually a 1, 2, and 3. So when you hear me say something is a 1, 2, and 3, or when you look in the food library and it says category 1, 2, and 3, what that means is it's got lean protein qualities, fibrous carbs qualities, and energy carb qualities. And so it's all 3 within 1. So those are some better options for pasta. Yes, Sheila, any of the tomatoes, any tomato, cooked and uncooked, is right here. Okay, so carrots. When carrots are cooked, they're a little bit more sugary, so you've got to call them an energy carb, and you need to eat them with a lean protein and a fibrous carb. If you wanted to eat some raw baby carrots, you could eat that, like a little palmful maybe, as a freebie. You could eat those as a freebie if you wanted to, but cooked carrots are a category 3 energy carb. Now, tomatoes and onions can actually be used as a condiment. So let's say you do a thin slice, no thicker than your pinky, thin slice. You could do a thin slice of tomato. You could do a thin slice of onion as a condiment. But if the tomato or onion amount that you're eating is 1/4 cup, whether it's cooked or raw, you need to call that an energy carb so that you keep yourself safe and you know to pair it with a lean protein and a fibrous carb. Okay, so let's do a little look at this. Let's say that you want to make a sandwich. Let's say a BLT. Take a tomato. You can actually have what would be 1/4 cup, of that. Take a tomato. I know it's come in slices, so you just kind of have to eyeball it. But tomato, you pick a category 2 fibrous carb bread and choose some maybe Canadian bacon, because that would be a lean protein. I know it's not bacon, but put that all together. You could even put an approved mayo on it as a condiment, and you've got BLT. Okay, so, but you have to remember the tomato is going to elevate your blood sugar. Your pancreas is going to secrete insulin, but the lean protein in the approved Canadian bacon, that's category 1, because there's some category 4 Canadian bacons. Make sure it's a 1. And the fiber in the category 2 bread are going to help neutralize the insulin release that comes from the tomato. That's awesome. You know how to do it now. Okay, so let's come down here. Now we've got fruit, category 5 fruit. I'm not going to read all this fruit because all fruit is in fruit, but I am going to read the first 4: berries, apples, oranges, and grapefruit. If you're going to have fruit in weight loss mode, that's really the best. Those are the lowest glycemic. Okay, so when you eat fruit, it's fructose. Fructose is sugar. It's a natural sugar. It's still, even though it's a natural sugar, it still elevates your blood sugar. Your pancreas is going to secrete insulin, and you need to not have any fat with that. This is, and you've got to eat it with a lean protein and a fibrous carb so that it neutralizes the insulin release that came out because of the fruit. So let's say that you want to have some berries. Maybe you make an egg white spinach omelet, or maybe you make, maybe you get Oikos 000 yogurt and put in some hemp flakes and then your berries. Make a little parfait. So you could do that. There's lots of options. Lots of options. Now, keep in mind that when you get to maintenance, you can eat fruit as a snack by itself. But in weight loss mode, you got to combine it with a lean protein and a fibrous carb. In maintenance, if you're eating fruit, you should still combine it properly by not putting it with fat in a meal. But if you're eating a piece of fruit by itself as a snack, you can do that once you get to maintenance. All right, we're going to go over some other things that you can use. Category 2 breads. Less is best still on the breads. Less is best. You don't want more than 100 calories of bread per meal. That's why you're going to most of the time find the things that they're going to have a 45 calorie. And that way, if you're making a sandwich and you need 2, it works, and it's not more than you're going to use. But let's say that you find a bread that is, well, let's say a tortilla. There's some tortillas out there that are 80 calories. Well, you're not going to use 2 tortillas for anything, okay? Because that would be more than 100 calories of bread. But if you use 2 tortillas, you actually could technically. We don't suggest it because that just would be too much and fill up our stomachs too much. But I'm just trying to give like little examples of that. So want to keep your bread at less than 100 calories per meal. You can use the La Tortilla Factory 50 calorie tortilla, the Olay Extreme Wellness high fiber tortilla, Healthy Life bread, Bran Crisp bread, which is really not a bread. It's a appetite suppressing cracker. Yeah, it's a cracker, not a bread. Healthy Life hot dog buns, Thomas Light, the 100 calorie English muffins, all of those work, but there's well over 60 approved ones. Approved sweeteners, any 0 calorie sweetener is approved. Approved beverages, water. You never want to go without getting your water in. On a perfect day, you need at least 4 of these, be shooting for 8 of these. So 64 ounces up to 128 ounces. Half a gallon to a gallon. Nothing takes the place of drinking your water, but there are additional beverages that you can have. 0 calorie beverages of any type, unsweet or approved tea, coffee. You can have coffee with up to 15 calories of approved sweetener, but you don't want more than 15 calories of approved sweetener. And then there's this cheese. We're talking about this as a condiment, no more than 50 calories. Any fat-free cheese works fine, but this one right here, I always like to mention it, this Cabot extra light cheese, up to 50 calories of it is a condiment. But if you're using it as a protein source, this is actually a protein plus fat. And you just want to be aware of that so that you don't eat it with any energy carbs, fruit, or superfoods. But the rest of those, even though we've got this listed under the condiment category right here, all of these are also lean proteins. So if you wanted to make a grilled cheese sandwich, like I would take a couple of slices of Borden fat-free cheese, approved category 2 bread, the I can't believe it's not butter spray, and make myself a grilled cheese. Next up, lean protein milk, 8 up to 16 ounces. This is actually a category 1. If you're using it as a component of a meal, then you would want to make sure that you just stick with around 8 ounces. That'd be a cup. That'd be a category 1. If you're drinking it as a meal replacement, just to kind of run out the door real quick, you can actually have up to 16 ounces if you wanted to. But the fat-free Fairlife milk works and the Kroger Carb Master milk works. These milks are fat-free. They are lactose-free as well. And they've been fortified with protein. This is very, very important when it comes to if you're going to have it with cereal. See, cereal, even at the best of the best, is still a little starchy, okay? And you don't want fat to be with that because you don't want it to be collected. And you need the protein that's in these milks to offset it. Okay, so this is why these are so, so important. So fat-free Fairlife or Kroger Carb Master milks. And there are some other milks approved. You know, if you like almond milk and such, you could use that. You just need to make sure you look it up. I would choose the unsweetened almond milk. It is a category 4 protein plus fat. So you'd want to make sure that you used it like that. And there are certain cereals that you would not drink almond milk with, okay? And we're going to go over that in just a second. And even a little bit more tomorrow night when we go over the food library. Flours and breadings. Guess what these are? These are category 2s. Some of them are like a 1 and a 2, but I just call them all 2s. Okay. These are category 2 fibrous carbs. This is exciting. You can make the perfect cornbread recipe from the recipe library is great. And it's made with several of these. And this Carb Quick flour, this is like Bisquick. Like Bisquick, you can make pancakes and biscuits with it. I make these cheddar garlic biscuits with it that are just delicious. But coconut flour, Carb Quick flour, Bob's TVP, I can sprinkle that on top of a little salad. It seems like a little bit of crouton, crunchy. I wouldn't go more than 50 calories on that because it's being used as a condiment. That's how in that particular situation. But we have a lot of vegans are, well, I'm not sure if it's vegan or vegetarian, but I guess both of them would use this. But anyway, there's a meatless meatloaf that you can use this with. So that would be good. Almond flour. Okay, all of those work. So let's say that you want to take some okra and lightly powder it or bread it, and then maybe put it in your air fryer or your oven and crisp it up and make it really tasty. You can do that. I take Carb Quick flour quite a bit and take chicken tenderloins and a little bit of Nature's Own seasoning and just bread those up. I then use the ghee butter for this. Put some ghee butter in the bottom of an 8x13 casserole dish, put it in the oven, cook it for like 7 minutes, flip them, another 7 minutes. We call this the yummy chicken at my house. Now, we were making yummy chicken before Shibboleth. We've just now turned it into this. We used to make it with 2 sticks of butter. So now, and we used to also make it with flour. So now we've switched it to Carb Quick, and we use the same seasoning, and we've switched it to ghee butter, and it's good. Tastes the same. Okay. Oh, let me say something about this Carb Quick. You can also get this on our recipe on our website. If you go into our store on the website, if you looked up recipe starter kit. If you looked up recipe starter kit, that would give you the zero drag MCT oil, the 100%. It would give you Carb Quick, and it would give you ghee butter. The reason I specifically mention that is because those are those staples that if you just go ahead and bring into the house, when you're looking at a recipe and you think, oh man, I can make that, but I don't have the Carb Quick, or I can make that, but I don't have this. If you go ahead and get them in the house, they're there, okay? But also notice that Carb Quick is not spelled with a CK at the end. It's just a K at the end. And you don't want to use the recipes that are on their box. They did not take into account the other Shibboleth approved rules. Okay, so use the ones from our recipe. There's over 6 pages in the recipe library that include Carb Quick in it. Cereals. You can have a cup up to 1.5 cups. Some of the best ones to eat are Kashi Go Lean Original, K's Natural Cereal, and the High-Low Nutritious Living. These cereals are what we call phase 1 cereals. And I don't want to confuse anybody with saying phase 1 and you're like, oh my goodness, what else do I have to learn? Phase 1 is the foundation of the lifestyle. It's always going to be really the best foods. Whenever you hear somebody say it's a phase 2 food, that's where we've opened up things like Captain Crunch and Reese Puffs to you because they work. But you got to inherently know they're not the best for you. Okay. They work, but like barely, that type of thing. Phase 2 also opens up some soups to you and some frozen meals. Now, you could actually do phase 1, phase 2, any approved foods except for the ones that in the food library that say maintenance only, could actually do any from the beginning. But when you look at that approved combination chart, the one that's in lap 1, it gives you a little bit of limited things, and it doesn't include energy, carbs, and fruit. You could actually do energy, carbs, and fruit from the beginning, but these little things that I'm telling you are like, what could I do this very first week, my first 7 to 10 days, just to get the ultimate best results? I would leave out phase 2 stuff, and I would leave out fruit and energy carbs, but you technically could have it from the beginning. It's okay, but for optimization, you would do the other. Now, I'm not going to go over these restaurants here because we do this, I think, on lap 4 or 5. Anyway, later on in the week, we go over that. But if you click on these, it will tell you exactly how to order those things. So you can go ahead and look at those and have a look. But what I'm going to do right now is, y'all let me know if you have any questions, but I'm going to pop over into the food library and show you the cereals real quick. So I'm clicking, when you're no longer in Fast Track, you'll access the food library through this green tab right here, Resources, Foods, and Recipes, and then you'll click where it says Approved Food Library. So over here on the categories on the side, see where it says phase 1 cereal? That's going to be better cereal to choose. Then it says phase 2 cereal, phase 2 frozen meals, and phase 2 soups. Think about this. All of those are highly processed and typically on the inner aisles of the grocery store. But you know what? We know that you want a practical, sustainable lifestyle, and some of these things are necessary. And so we have them in here. But the ones that won't work, they don't make it into the food library. So you can use these, but this phase 1 would be better for weight loss. So you can find it over here on the right-hand side, or in the center here, you can find it like right there, phase 1 and phase 2. So I'm going to click on phase 1 cereal. So I mentioned the almond milk a minute ago. Let's say that you get some approved almond milk, approved unsweetened almond milk and such. You could actually have that milk with these cereals, but only these. You wouldn't put it with a phase 2 cereal. The other thing is, most cereals you don't eat alone. But there's some of these that can be eaten alone. But in order to figure that out, you click on it and you read the description. This AHS, I really like these a lot. This is Advanced Health System. This is my favorite, the Cinnamon Crisp cereal. And we sell that in our store, but that's what AHS stands for, Advanced Health System. But a lot of those are bought out in regular stores. Okay. But if you go over in the phase 2 cereals, let me click there. You're going to see a longer list. It's generating. There we go. Okay. So here is, and I got a little bit more to go, a little bit more. There we go. So that's your list of phase 2 cereals. We got chocolate Cheerios there. Most of the Captain Crunches. I don't know if there's more than that. We got something called Captain Crunch's Sprinkled Donut Crunch. Now you got to know that these aren't the best. But look, do you see this? We'll talk more about this tomorrow night. Actually, Dr. Jim is doing tomorrow night for me, but he'll talk about this. But in case he doesn't mention it, you're getting it tonight. The 0 on the weight loss meter means it's not going to help you, not going to hurt you. See this right here? See this weight loss meter? Well, the weight loss meter goes from -3 to +3. The weight loss meter is important because it is another way for basically you to categorize foods. Which one of these foods are the best for weight loss? And so 0 right in the center, not going to really hurt you, not going to really help you. So personally, I want negative numbers for a cereal. And look, this chocolate peanut butter Cheerios is a +1. So when you're getting up into the positive numbers, you're really looking more at maintenance. Okay, maintenance cereals and stuff. And 0 is really not going to help you, not going to hurt you. But that's what that's for. And then let's say that you needed something that was gluten-free. I can click that filter. That's what these filters are for. And it will filter out the things that are, so now there's your list of phase 2 cereals that are gluten-free. So that's a good way to look at that. If you wanted to see all of the gluten-free foods in general, you can come right here and just click on this one and it'll produce all the gluten-free products. But let's say that you are in category 3 energy carbs and you want to find out which ones are gluten-free, you would go to the category 3 energy carbs list. And then you click on gluten-free and it will knock out them all. What's nice about that is if you are specifically looking for a gluten-free product that's in a certain category, go to the category heading first, then click on the filter and it will filter them out. And so I love all these features. I mean, Travis Martin has thought of absolutely everything. I think he thinks of these things at night when he's sleeping or in the shower or whatever. You know how we think all our great ideas right before we go to bed or that. And then he just puts it into a website for us to use, which is amazing. I'm so thankful. So thankful. And then I was going to show one more thing. What was it? Oh, I talked a little bit more about it. I mentioned those pastas to you. And just one more thing while we're here. See this right here, this coach mode meals? I'm going to click there. Coach mode meals are just simple meals that you can use. And we don't really talk a lot about counting calories and measuring all of that. We don't do that. But these are, Travis has put these together in a way that would really look at those categories. Yeah, Beverly, you can print it. It might print a little odd. So let me see. You might want to make sure that it's going to print properly before you do it. But you can always access it back on this website right here and look at it. You can always look at it. But look, there's the print button right there. So let's click print list. Just make sure that's how it should print. Just make sure it would fit on the paper that you're going to print it. But it is available for printing. Yep. Well, awesome. I'm so glad that y'all are with me tonight. And I normally do fast track 7 days a week at 7:30 p.m. But my husband has taken vacation this week and he wants myself and my son to go watch that Jungle Cruise movie at the movie theater. We hadn't been to the movie theater in a long time. And he said, "Can you go tomorrow night?" And I said, "Okay, well, let me see if Jim could do the fast track." And he could. So Jim will be doing the fast track tomorrow night, but I'll be back with you on Wednesday night. Okay. And right now, Julie Marandino is going to be doing the How I Overcame Food Addiction and Lost Weight webinar. And if you are a member, please head on over to the pink online webinars tab right here and get registered, okay, and join in. It's happening now, so if you go right there and you click register here, it should pop you right into the Zoom room with Julie. And if you have found us on Facebook and you are not a member, please grab a membership. It's currently $69 for a lifetime. And you get all these features that I get to show all the way through Saturday night. And just find that at shibbolethdeals.com. Shibbolethdeals.com. And if somebody told you about Shibboleth, please write in their first and last name. Thank you, Connie. We're looking forward to it. And thank you, Sheila. Thank you. And thank you, Michelle. Glad you're here. Shibbolethdeals.com. And just put in the person's name, first and last, that you heard about Shibboleth from. Awesome. Good night, everybody.